The lighting is always so good here. Oh my god. Hello, welcome to the vlog. This is Asia Simone, your resident Black lesbian, here to show you a good time for about 15 to 20 minutes or less. I'm someone who's had mental health struggles since I was about 16, with it peaking around 23, 22, and now at 27, it's so controlled and calm, and living inside my head is a nice place now. It all started when I was 15, actually. Oh my god. So young. It all started when I was 15, when I had to learn how to drive and get a job. Those two things caused me so, and I mean so much anxiety that I was having panic attacks before I knew what panic attacks were. Did that for a couple years, panic attacks, anxious, went to college. Going to college at 18 was the second most anxiety inducing thing for me, because I was going to be 8 hours away from my family with no friends, no support system, trying to build up something for me in college so that I can build a life for me one day, to get my family out the trenches of the lower middle class lifestyle, which I know it's not literally the trenches, just I'm being dramatic. So I had all this pressure on me in college, which fueled the anxiety disorder even more before I knew I had one. I was stress eating, I was picking up my scalp, I was having intrusive thoughts about things that I don't even want to talk about, and I was just like getting depressed. I was getting a little depressed around my sophomore year. And then what brought my mental health back up was whenever I went on my give trip to Laos, which I talked about that in a video a long time ago, like at the beginning of my channel, which you probably haven't watched, because who watches the beginning of anyone's channel? I do. I watch the beginning of people's channels, but anyways, I digress. So when I went on my trip to Laos, it gave me a reason to live again. It was a beautiful, wonderful 2-week volunteer trip where we got to get culturally immersed in the culture of Laos, which is in between Vietnam and Thailand, if you don't know. Then things got real dark around the age of 22. I had just graduated from college. I was working in nonprofit, because if you don't know, I used to work in nonprofit, not supply chain. And I was realizing nonprofit wasn't for me. And I was also realizing that like I had no money, and I wasn't gonna have any money for many, many years to come if I continued working in nonprofit work. I was struggling with unemployment at this time, and I just felt worthless. Like I felt like I had nothing to give. I felt like I had failed my family from lifting us from the trenches of lower middle classness, and I just felt like shit. And so I fell into this depression, and I was unemployed, and being unemployed on its own can make you fall into depression. But basically I had post-grad depression. You know, the lifestyle you have of waking up every single day at 9 a.m. and being out all day, going to classes and doing extracurriculars and hanging out with friends, and then getting home at 10 p.m. That was no more. I didn't have this structured lifestyle to keep me moving and churning and pumping. I was very much slowed down. And when you're slowed down, you end up having to face your demons that you didn't even know were there. So I started facing my demons when I was like 22, 23. And I remember there was a distinct 3 months of it where I was hella depressed. And I was, well, I'll just say it, I was suicidal for 3 months one year, either 2022 or 2023. And that was like the hardest 3 months of my life. It was summertime. I remember I lived with bunnies. My roommate had bunnies, and I lived with bunnies. The bunnies helped me feel better and get through the day. I remember I listened to a lot of K-pop and Beyonce, and I would just cry all day about the different traumas and triggers that were coming up for me about my childhood and my feelings of failure for being unemployed, and just like not knowing what I'm doing with the nonprofit stuff because it wasn't paying me enough. It was a miserable time. So then I finally started caved, and I got on medicine. So prior to this, I had been going to a therapist since I was like 17 years old. No, I'm sorry. I've been going to a therapist since I was like 18 or 19 years old. And therapy was helping a little bit, but it wasn't really getting into the problems. I feel like in therapy, I come off very nonchalant. I really don't try to, but I just do. And so I feel like my therapist, no, Toby, I come off very nonchalant in therapy. At least I did a couple years ago. And I feel like the different therapists I had over the years weren't taking what I said very seriously. And so they weren't getting to the root of my problems. They were just helping solve my surface level anxiety, but not the deeper level anxiety. Toby, look, Look at the camera. No, that's not a toy. So the therapists weren't really resolving my anxiety, and I was so depressed, I was suicidal. So I decided to get on medicine, and it was a hard decision for me to make. I was very scared of side effects. I was very much like, I was just afraid of side effects. And I think that has to do a lot with the stigma around mental health medicine. I think side effects can occur with some people and can be terrible, but I think a lot of times you have to look at your situation and realize that the situation you're in is so much worse than any side effect could ever be. And that's the situation I was in. I was like, God damn, this depression hurts more than in the desire to kill myself, and like the violent thoughts towards myself hurts more than I think any side effect will hurt me. So with that, I got on medicine. The first one I tried was Zoloft. Zoloft was good. I liked Zoloft. I liked her a lot. She was very cute. She made my head so numb and in the clouds that I just didn't think anything seriously at all. It was so nice. I loved it. I remember driving and my head was just in the clouds, and I felt good. But however, for some reason, Zoloft, whenever my period would come around, it's as if Zoloft wasn't working anymore. So I'd fall back into that deep, deep depression for like a week or two during my period, and I couldn't handle that. So then I told my provider, and they switched me to Prozac, and I'm on Prozac to this day. Prozac worked well for me. It didn't take away all the thoughts and feelings as 100% effectively as Zoloft did, but it did at least still work during my period, so I knew I could take it. I took Prozac, and slowly over time, I picked up 2 more medicines. I picked up aripiprazole and buspirone, and currently I take all 3 of those. And they're like a perfect mix for me. I feel more relaxed. I can manage my anxiety, and I don't have panic attacks anymore, because before this I was having so many panic attacks. I was having OCD symptoms, general anxiety symptoms, panic disorder symptoms. It just didn't matter what type of anxiety it was. I was having those symptoms, and depression that was suicidal, like deep depression. But now I literally just had a psychiatry appointment, and I'm gonna try switching from Prozac to a new medicine, because I am tired of the side effects on my libido that the medicine has had. I just want to feel like a full person again and have my sexuality back. So up to this point, I've gotten my medicine through the traditional way, which is like a pharmacy like CVS or Publix. But now I'm going to get it through Express Scripts, which sends it straight to your house. So I do have to wait like a week for it to get here. But in about a week, I'm going to start that. And yeah, I'm excited to see if my libido comes back quickly and immediately, or if it takes some time, or maybe I just have libido problems that aren't related to the medicine. I don't know. Maybe I just have no sex drive. But yeah, I've had no libido for like 5 years now, and it's gotten to a point. I wasn't picky about it at first because the depression itself and the suicidal thoughts cut my libido. So I was like, I didn't notice or care if the medicine was doing the same thing, but now I'm in a better place. I notice and I care. And I think it's a valid reason to want to switch medicine, not get off medicine completely, because that's crazy, but to switch medicines, why not, you know? And you never know how you might react to another medicine that could be even better. So I'm very pro take medicine for your mental health. I see it just as much as like any other organ in your body can be lacking or deficient in something. That can happen, but just in your brain. Your brain is just another organ, and it needs care too. I don't know how else to say it. Like, medicine for your mind is no different than medicine for your body. It really isn't. So I feel like if you're someone who's struggling mentally, you don't have to struggle every day like that anymore. And even if the struggle isn't, like, that's the thing. I used to undermine. I undermined so bad my struggles. That's why I was nonchalant in therapy, that I didn't even realize I was depressed whenever I was suicidal. Like, I knew I was suicidal, but I didn't know I was depressed too, because I undermined my feelings so much that I was like, no, depression looks like this and that. I don't have those. Yes, I did. I had them extremely, because you don't get suicidal without being depressed. Like, they go hand in hand, I think. At least that's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but from my understanding, they go hand in hand. That's like the short version of my story. I don't even know how to do a long version of my story, because that would just be me rambling for so long about all the details of the experiences I had with anxiety. Just know I experienced every symptom under the sun, from physical tension in my body, which aripiprazole helps me with, to intrusive thoughts about intrusive thoughts about subjects that do not make anyone feel comfortable, to panic attacks while driving, panic attacks while in the grocery store, panic attacks while picking at my scalp with dermatillomania. I might be starting a GLP-1 about the same time that I start this new medicine, which I might stagger. I might wait to start a GLP-1 until I start the new medicine for at least 1 week. But the GLP-1 has some proven the GLP-1 has been proven to sometimes help with compulsions and like addictive habits. And my addictive habit, my compulsion, is picking at my skin. It's called dermatillomania. There's a lot of people who know about trichotillomania, which is pulling at your hair. I don't feel interested in pulling at my hair by like picking at my skin, specifically the skin on my scalp. And I'm tired of doing it because I'm African American. Our hair is already tender, and picking at my scalp means that I'm causing breakage throughout my hair. So I've been struggling to grow my hair out for years now because of this dermatillomania, which I've struggled with since I was like 6 or 8 years old. But it was just on and off. Like I had time periods, I had years where I wasn't picking, and then I have years when I do pick. I'm queer, a person of color, and mentally ill. Bro, I'm just lucky I have a good life. Like, the quality of my life is pretty darn good. And I'm like, thank God, because those three things can really be a drag. So yeah, I just wanted to share my story, and I hope that somebody finds this relieving, and I hope this helps you feel less alone. I hope this makes you realize you're not crazy. And if you want me to make a video more about like detailed things I went through with my mental health, just ask me in the comments. I will. Like, if you want me to talk more about my anxiety symptoms or my depression symptoms, and like just weird niche things that can happen when your brain is not in the right space, let me know. I almost developed agoraphobia at some point, which is the fear of leaving your house. That was crazy. Toby! He likes to act all cute once I call him out. It's annoying, Toby. Also, I want to say happy Pride, everyone. And if you want to hear my coming out story on how I figured out I was gay, just let me know in the comments below, and I can make a video about that too, because it's pretty interesting and I think relatable. And I think it's funny at the beginning of it. I feel like coming out was never just like a one-day event. It was a thing that happened throughout my life. Like, I've come out many a times. Part of the reason why I want to get on new medicine and get my libido back is because not having a libido makes me doubt my sexual orientation, which I shouldn't doubt because that's just not how it works. But it's like mental, you know what I mean? It's like a mental thing. So I doubt myself, and so I want my libido back so I can remind myself that yes, I do love women, which I know I love them emotionally, but I'm just like, the sexual attraction I'm struggling with because the libido is low. We'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know what you want to watch. Make sure to like and subscribe. It will really help me out. I haven't got a new subscriber in so long, and I miss it. I love you guys. Like, I owe everything to you guys. Please subscribe. Please like. Please comment. I'm desperate. I'll be 100%. I'm desperate for it. Like, I love interaction on this channel. But thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Ciao.